Hello, my name's Paul Jenkins, Managing Director of UK Packaging Innovation Consultancy, ThePackHub, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Elef Kassianidis, Sales Director for UK and Ireland for Hatzopoulos. Hello, Elef, how are you today?
Hi, Paul. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Delighted to have you on for this interview today.
Likewise.
First of all, I'd really like to find out a little bit more about yourself. So tell me a bit about Elef and what you do.
Right. I'm a chemist by training, an industrial chemist, and I've assumed a variety of roles within the chemicals and packaging industry for the last 20 years. So those would include, they're as diverse as R&D, marketing, sales, some process work I've done in the past, but I've been with Hatzopoulos UK for the last 11 years now. That's where I settled.
Okay, it's amazing how many industrial chemists I get to speak to in the packaging world. I think it's quite a route into the. I'm not sure you intended at the very start to get into packaging that way, but a lot of us find our way in packaging in many different ways, don't we? So
yeah, that was definitely not my intention when starting out. Yeah,
absolutely. So tell me a bit more about your business, Hatzopoulos, and what you do and what your particular role is in the scheme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hatzopoulos is quite a traditional European company in the converting sector. Having said that, the company possesses some unique qualities. So early on, the owners decided to adopt a hybrid operational model. So that combines, as I said, traditional converting practices like basically printing, laminating, and slitting. And also, and that's a significant aspect, of the modus operandi consists in establishing synergies with third-party companies to basically co-develop raw materials, so proprietary formulations of materials in all categories. So like starting from polymers to inks, and then moving to adhesives and varnishes. In terms of the first part, we basically operate from two manufacturing sites. One's completely dedicated to rotogravure, the other one's dedicated to flexo. Those sites are fully independent and fully vertically integrated, so everything is done in-house. And as far as the second aspect is concerned, so apart from all the raw materials we utilize, we also work very closely with packing line manufacturing, so packing equipment manufacturers. In those cases, we fully technically implement solutions for clients just before we test them on site at our clients, and that enables us basically to adopt, in general, a consultative approach. So all our solutions are fully customizable. So essentially, everything is tested before commercializing the material, before adding it to our portfolio.
Okay, and really like the idea of collaborations and partnerships as a way to sort of bring new innovations to market. I guess it's bringing in other people's experiences as well as your own to bring the best thing to the market, isn't it? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, I mean, even startups, I mean, you very, very soon realize that it's the only way forward. So that's what it is, especially with the emphasis that is nowadays placed on circularity, so innovative recyclable materials, and essentially the rate of change. I don't think that any one company could achieve that on their own.
Absolutely, yeah. So, and I guess in combination of those partnerships, it's all about sustainability and sort of delivering, sort of more recyclable initiatives, monomaterial developments. Is that the kind of thing you're working on?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. The sole focus of the company is on those types of materials nowadays. For the last 5 years, we have concentrated on developing those kinds of solutions. And to be honest with you, it's dictated by clients. I don't think we've worked on a conventional type material for the last 3 years at least. So our output is nowadays about almost 90%, consists of recyclable materials rather than anything else.
Okay. I mean, that's really exciting.
I just said monotype materials.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess there are some real challenges. It's not just a simple case of, running a machine and doing it. There's quite a long lead time for some of these developments, I guess.
Lead time has been an issue quite lately, but it has been a journey, it has to be said. And where do we start with that? I mean, you've had all the technical challenges to begin with, starting with resin manufacturers and, sequentially going to us as converters. But also it's a fact that guidelines vary so much. So we operate essentially in the whole of the EU and the US, and guidelines vary so much, and production needs to reflect that. So instead of focusing on a singular family of materials, basically you need to have at least 3 in your portfolio. So PE-based laminates, polypropylene-based laminates, and mixed polyolefin laminates as well. So numerous challenges to face.
Absolutely. And what kind of markets are you helping? What kind of categories?
Right. So we operate in the broad FMCG sector. Particular emphasis on subsectors like food and beverage and personal care. That would be, again, over 80% of our portfolio. The rest would be industrial chemicals.
Okay, and I guess obviously depending on the application, the challenges around barrier and all those other sort of functional attributes you need to achieve, varies by sector. I guess the challenges for food packaging are obviously different for other ones as well. So I guess each
yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah. To us, especially in the UK and Irish markets, the introduction of polypropylene, so the reclassification of it as recyclable, as recycle ready, has provided more versatility. So in terms of the adjustability of barriers that you mentioned, is very, very important. Also, in overall performance, there has been a breath of fresh air relative to more demanding materials like polyethylene.
Okay, brilliant. And the countries you operate in, you mentioned Europe and North America. Is that sort of?
Yes, mainly, yeah.
Okay. And what sort of results have you sort of achieved in terms of some of the more recent developments? Can you give some examples of some collaborations that are now in market that you can proudly talk about?
Branded, brand owners have been quicker to respond to the whole recyclability adoption debate. But having said that, the retailers are ready to fully move to recyclable. So basically in the coffee sector, where we basically occupy more than 87% of the UK market, from September, two large retailers, I don't know if I can mention the names, are ready to move to fully recyclable solutions.
Right.
Yeah, smaller clients, mainly in the confectionery, salty snack sections, have already adopted those. As I said, I don't think from the beginning of 2023, I don't think that any new SKUs introduced into the market will be with conventional materials. I might be a bit optimistic, so it might be a bit later, but not by a lot.
Okay, I guess you've got obvious challenges with the supply of recycled materials and all the things that are going on at the moment. That doesn't make your life any easier, does it?
Yeah, it has to be said. Yeah, but not with polypropylene. That's I think the main issues in the flexible sector in the last 18 months had to do with aluminium were utilized, and any EVOH containing base materials. With polyprop, we have the ability. We have the facility to avoid EVOH, and that makes things much easier. So barriers, can be achieved with metallization and various barrier coatings, so like aluminum oxide or silicon oxide. So lead times haven't been much of a problem compared to the other material categories.
That's good to hear. Good to hear. And what about the future? I mean, you're obviously very busy doing a number of different new initiatives. I mean, do you see it as being more of the same? You brand owners and retailers coming to you with the same sort of challenges going forward, or do you sort of see the market evolving in some way? I mean, you haven't got a crystal ball and nobody really knows, but I mean, how do you sort of see it changing? Which I'd like to know.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, you're absolutely right. But things are definitely not going to remain static, not at all. So we've more or less, to a large extent, resolved technical obstacles. So we've surmounted those. But what is to come, and it's the most important step, is basically closing the loop. With regard to us as converters, is the incorporation of recycled content in the materials.
Yeah.
And so on the part of the various governments all over Europe and the US, is the implementation of the recycling facility groundwork.
Yeah.
So those are the main two challenges for the years to come. So with regard to and they're both, I mean, bound together, if it makes sense. So we need to start, brand owners, retailers need to start adopting recyclable materials. Then the government needs to basically build more recycling facilities in order for them to be recycled. And then we can basically reintroduce the recyclate into the materials and close the loop, if it makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a real challenge, but it sounds like you're very much ahead of the curve in terms of trying to deliver that. That's excellent, really good. So thank you ever so much. How can people get hold of you if they would like to find out more? Your email address or?
Yeah, absolutely. But the best way forward would be to visit our website. So it's a long Greek name. So yeah. So if one visited www.hatzopoulos.co.uk, would be able to retrieve all contact information on there.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Elef. I've learned a bit more about what your business does. Really interesting, and some of the sort of challenges that you currently got and will have in the future. So thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Paul. Thanks for having me.